Hey everybody, Meteorologist Ethan Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center for our First Alert 7:15 weather show, sponsored by Cost Saver. And we've got some pretty good weather to talk about here as we head into the end of the work week, heading into the weekend. A lot of events, of course, happening here in the Tri-State. We'll cover most of those and also look at when we can see some rain chances as well as more humidity and even some smoke here to the Tri-State. All of that and more coming up. So, hi everyone, Meteorologist Ethan Emery. I'm sure some of you might be surprised. Where's Steve at? He's taking a much-needed vacation. It's hard to get that man to take some time off. He is a workaholic, but we've convinced him. Hey, take it easy. Got, some good weather to enjoy at least for a little bit. Go do some yard work you need to do or projects you need to take care of. And I'm sure Steve's watching right now, and I'm sure he's probably going to text me occasionally. But, no, giving him some time off that he needs, and because we all need some breaks occasionally. But now I'm stepping in, and we're doing this 7:15 weather show. We've got a lot of things to talk about, but of course we'll let you know that we are live wherever you stream, whether it's fox19.com, the Fox 19 News First Alert weather app as well, Fox 19 24/7 weather streaming channel, and also the Fox 19 Facebook, including my Facebook, at Ethan Emery WX, and also on YouTube. Now, eventually we'll be able to take comments on YouTube, but right now, if you have any questions or comments, you can go to our Fox 19 Facebook page as well as my Facebook page, again, at Ethan Emery WX, and I will be looking at those comments throughout this broadcast and try to answer those as much as I can. Well, without further ado, we will talk about the forecast. So this is one thing that I do on the weekend. So I do the 19 at 6 weekend weather show, different times. I know it's a little bit hard to keep track of all those times, but one thing that I do on 19 at 6 is I try to provide you with a promise of giving you that forecast as quick as possible. And the reason why I had this introduction is because you don't usually see me at this time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you tonight's forecast, tomorrow's forecast, and the 7-day. We're going to do this within the next minute or two. So if you got any plans, of course, there are so many things going on. I want to make sure that you get at least that information. That way you can go back out and to do those things. But of course, you're welcome to stay here, of course. That way you can get more details in the forecast. Things you may not hear or see on the Fox 19 newscast. So we will begin talking about tonight's forecast. So temperatures tonight are going to dip down a little bit cooler into the lower 60s, and we are looking at partly cloudy skies. So this evening, you see those skies are clear behind me a moment ago. Clouds build back in. We are looking at some mid to high level clouds moving in from the south to the north. And then for the day on Friday, temperatures are going to warm up very similar to how they were today in the mid 80s. And looking at a mix of sun and clouds. More clouds in the morning, a bit more sunshine in the afternoon and evening, and that's going to allow those temperatures to be able to get into those mid-80s. The difference, though, is lower humidity compared to what it was like today. 7-day forecast, though, the humidity is going to come back pretty quick Sunday. So Saturday, low humidity, but it's going to be a little bit of a warmer day with highs around 88. A morning low, very comfortable at 61. But storm chances return with that humidity Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, high of 87. More storm activity for Monday and Tuesday. Notice the highs in the mid-80s with that cloud cover and rain. Morning lows will be a little bit humid, a little sticky out there, upper 60s and low 70s, and that trend will continue through the middle of the work week. A little bit of relief. When I say relief, I mean just dry air. It's still going to be humid Thursday, with a high of 91 degrees. And of course, we'll break down more details on this all coming up here in a little bit. But I wanted to give you that 7-day forecast in case if you're outside doing those activities, whether you're going to Get a Fest, whether you're going to Cincinnati Music Festival, maybe you're watching this while you're at the concert at GABP for Foo Fighters. If so, hey, that's awesome. Thank you. We appreciate that. Or if you're just doing anything else here this evening. I know we have the Salsa on the Square over at Fountain Square as well. And there's Riverbend Music Festival, or Riverbend Music is, they have, I forget who it is this evening, but there's a lot of things going on, case in point. But right behind me, we have Radar. Things are looking nice and quiet out there here to kick things off for the end of the week. And of course, at this point, we've only got about 5 minutes in on this weather show. I want to take a look at some of those Facebook questions and comments, if we have any, and then we will go ahead and continue here with this show. And again, dive into some more details. Cheyenne, a frequent on the 19 at 6 weekend weather show, saying hopefully no severe weather next week. Now, I can't guarantee that, but as it looks right now, I've not seen any indications of severe weather. The biggest threat right now with the forecast next week is going to be the heavy rain. And again, I will show that here just a little bit here on some of that forecast model data. So that is the only comment we have on our Fox 19 Facebook page. What I'm going to do now is look at my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX to see if we have any Facebook comments or questions there. And if we don't, we'll move right along and talk about more weather stuff. Patrice, hi, Double E, nice to see you. Hey, nice to see you joining us as well. Very unusual time to see me here on Facebook, on live. Unless we had severe weather, of course, which I think this time, I don't think I've worked with Rob Williams if there wasn't severe weather. I think this is the first time. So that's really cool. Anyway, we are going to head and move forward now with the forecast and also what's happening outside right now, too. Because the one thing I want to point out is if you notice behind me at the very beginning of this weather show, we'll go and pull back up the Queens Gate camera. It's above the Fox 19 studios at the very top of the roof. If you are driving on Guest Street or Jess Street, however you want to pronounce it, and 7th Street, you'll see the building we have. It has the red roofing, and the building has this kind of a, how would I put this, kind of a tan color. But anyway, the camera's on top of all that, and you can zoom it around everywhere here in Cincinnati. So at this point, we're aiming it towards the west end. One of my favorite structures here in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Museum Center, Union Terminal, and you notice the haze. A little smoky looking out there, and that's by no accident. We do have wildfire smoke working into the area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up the observations, look at the last 48 hours or so, and then look at the forecast model with that smoke. Now, the good news is it's not really affecting the air quality all that much. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin discussing the air quality, because I know some folks, when they see that haze, they get a little fearful. And if you have any kind of conditions, of course, you should be aware of these things. And so the air quality right now in Cincinnati is only what we call moderate. So a small number of folks who are sensitive, if you have any kind of lung or heart issues, maybe really young kids, that's where there could be a few health concerns with this. But it's not overly abundant. We're not looking at unhealthy conditions by any stretch, but it is noticeable haze. And the reason for it is because we do have wildfires going on towards British Columbia, Alberta, also towards Oregon and Idaho. Notice this little spike here and this spike here and right over in here. All of this is wildfire smoke, and that smoke has been kind of ejected up here, and it's been kind of swirling around into Canada and then also working its way into the high plains. There's just been this big ridge of high pressure, really hot conditions out towards the high plains. In fact, one of my buddies of mine working at our sister station in Rapid City, Coda Territory, I used to work there, they're looking at forecast next week temperatures in the triple digits. I'm not missing that a bit. But the point I'm bringing in is that all of this air is going to make its way through, and that smoke has actually dropped its way into the Ohio Valley, specifically today, because that smoke was behind that cold front. So here it is. We're playing into motion. There it is. You can see it sinking its way here going into Wednesday. We'll go forward in time. Here was earlier this morning, and you can see right now it has actually passed the tri-state. So here's a forecast model. It's not doing the best of jobs, but what I want to show is that that smoke does stay further south, and we are looking at some clearer conditions as we head into Friday evening going into Saturday. But then we head into Saturday into Sunday, that smoke looks to be staying to our north and west. Of course, we'll be monitoring this, and if there are any changes, we will let you know. But the wildfires going on in Alberta, British Columbia, and also Oregon and Idaho are what's causing a little bit of that haze you see out there. But again, we're not looking at any issues really with the air quality. At most, it's just been moderate. So other than that, though, we are fortunately not looking at this to be a major concern. at this point. So now what we'll do is take a look at radar and satellite, take a look at where that cold front is and what we're seeing, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into this forecast going into this weekend. So behind me here momentarily, in fact now, is our radar and satellite. So what we've got here is that front that passed through earlier. I'm going to go ahead and draw that out for you. It's pretty easy to point out, and it's right there. Where all that cloud cover is, in areas to the front of that front, you can see some more cloud cover, rain chances, a lot more humidity there. But behind this front, lower humidity, and of course, sinking air behind that cold front. And that sinking air has allowed that smoke to kind of sink its way closer to the surface, hence why you see some of that haze. But that being said, this is not going to be a long-lasting relief with regards to the lower humidity, because the front is, well, honestly, not all that strong. Because what's going to happen is that as we go on into the weekend, into next week, the high pressure is, again, try to draw this out for you, right here. Not a strong high pressure, but it's enough. It's going to allow for us to have a couple of days of quiet conditions. But this high pressure is going to move its way eastward, and then we're going to look at the return of moisture coming in from the south and west as we enter this pattern. You see some of this moisture here towards the Four Corners and towards Nevada into Colorado. This right here is going to move its way into our neck of the woods. We'll show that in the forecast models here in a moment. But today, CVG officially had a high temperature of 85 degrees. We'll show you that here. And the morning low, I mean, it was pretty humid when you stepped outside earlier this morning. And we had a morning low of 65, which is actually near normal for this time of the year. So late July, early August is when you typically see the most stickiest air in the tri-state. And so, again, we started off things with humidity here in the tri-state this morning, but this afternoon things have begun to improve because of that front that passed on through. And morning low temperatures across the tri-state were pretty much in those mid-60s. The more milder spots were over towards Batesville and in Falmouth. High temperatures today were in the low to mid-80s, depending on where you were. 82 towards Wilmington and Lebanon, also Middletown at 82. 88 at the Lunken Airport. Now this says 84 at CVG. Officially, it gets rounded based on more precise measurements, and that's why it had 85 at CVG. Now it's still warm. Now, granted, temperatures have gone down a little bit through our north in the upper 70s towards Wilmington, Lebanon, Middletown. 73 at Richmond. That sounds really nice. But we are looking still the upper 70s towards Harrison and Batesville. Lower 80s towards CVG, Falmouth, Batavia, and at the Lunken Airport still at 84. The dew points. This right here is the difference maker from that front. So we still have dew points, sure, in the 70s in Batesville. Reason for that is something called corn sweat. I'm sure Steve's probably told you this story before. If not, I'll share it. When I was an intern here back in 2016, I was allowed to assist with the forecasting, which was really cool as a meteorology student at Ohio University, being able to help TV weather, get to do the forecast and help out with that. And I would add fog to the forecast. If there was clear skies, I would add fog. And Steve's like, no, it doesn't make any sense. Why are you adding fog? And one day he asked me about it, and I was like, well, because every time I drive home, there's always fog on my way into my dad's. Because I live in southern Highland County at the time, and my dad still lives out that way. And where my dad lives at, right before you get to where he lives, there's a lot of agriculture, a lot of corn, a lot of soybeans. Where my dad lives at, it's more or less animals. There's a lot of cows, there's some horses. There are some ag out that way, but there's a lot of hills too, a lot of trees. But anyway, the point is that I drove through a lot of fog, and Steve's like, well, what's the environment like? I'm like, there's a lot of corn. And then he taught me a lesson that is evapotranspiration. And so the plants, they transpire the moisture that they have through the day, and it adds extra moisture to the atmosphere with that abundance of vegetation. And so if you have a lot of agriculture in a certain area, it kind of has this microclimate where you tend to have a little bit more fog in the nights, and then during the day a little bit more humidity. And actually it affects the temperatures. So temperatures don't get quite as hot in those areas, but it gets a lot more humid. So it still feels hot, but you tend to get things like this where you have dew points still in the 70s towards Batesville. I mean, heck, even here you can see the difference. Lebanon, Warren County, a big agricultural county. Of course, I covered the Warren County Fair last Friday, and the big thing of that fair is the agriculture. And so this is one of those examples. Dew points still in the mid-60s there. But everyone else, now granted, everyone else could still have some agriculture around, but where the airport sensors are, not so much. And so that's why you see the reflection here of those dew points in the lower 60s, even upper 50s towards Middletown here this hour. So heat index values, not much of that here at this point. But the winds have picked up a little bit because, of course, now we're behind that front. Winds have picked up with those clearer skies, that drier air upstairs working its way into the Ohio Valley. Now, wind gusts right now, not a huge issue, but there could be a gust of maybe up to 20 miles per hour going into this evening. But tonight, the winds will eventually subside. Okay, we've got some more comments, and we'll answer those here in a moment. Let me go ahead and move the camera around. There we are. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to answer, or ask, I should say, on the Fox 19 Facebook page or my Facebook page, and I'll happily answer that here in a moment. Got to stay hydrated. I drink a lot of those throughout the day. Okay. Gail says, hello, where has Lauren been? We've had a lot of questions about this, so I'm going to address it one time here on this weather show, is that Lauren Miner is no longer with us here at Fox 19. She has, moved on, and so we wish nothing but the best for her. And if you follow her page, she might make an announcement there. I don't know. But again, she's no longer here with us here at Fox 19. So that's all we'll have to say on that. Michael says, hey, the thumbs up. Yeah, this forecast is definitely a thumbs up going into Friday and Saturday. What else? Jeff asking about bad weather next week. We do have some unsettled weather, I'll say that. But we don't have right now any strong indications of severe weather, if that's what you're asking about, though it can't be entirely ruled out. And I'll show you that in the forecast model data in just a moment. Okay, we've got more comments here on my Facebook page. Jenny asks about Middletown getting any rain tonight. No rain tonight in Middletown. I know a lot of folks up that way probably need that rain, but we do not have rain in the forecast in Middletown tonight. In fact, Middletown won't see rain until Sunday afternoon. Annette says, nice seeing you, and Steve hardly ever takes off. I know. And even on the weekends, he still works in some form or fashion. Sometimes I'll come in and he's remotely on one of the computers working on some cool stat or something that helps us here in the Fox 19 First Alert Weather team. So we appreciate Steve, and I'm glad to be able to fill in for him, and it's an honor to fill in for him for one thing, but it's nice to see him have a break. Okay, so we're all caught up on my Facebook page on the questions and comments there. Double check the Fox 19 Facebook page. No extra comments or questions there. So we'll move right along with our forecast. So again, tonight we are looking at some cloud cover, especially late, and it'll be mid to upper level clouds. Morning lows will be into the low to mid 60s, and tomorrow we've got clouds in the morning, a lot more sunshine in the afternoon. There could be some clouds that develop with the daytime heating. We call those puffy fair weather cumulus clouds. You'll see those tomorrow afternoon. Highs will be into the mid 80s tomorrow. And again, low humidity will be accompanied with that. And you'll see here in our forecast model, what we're going to do is we're going to have a forecast model that's a lot more zoomed in. That way you can see what to expect here for the next about 36, 48 hours. So here it is. Did a fairly good job. You can see some clouds to our south, but a lot of clear skies to our north, which is the case here this evening. We go into tonight, and you'll see right here, this is mid to upper level clouds. So tonight you might see, some of the moon that's filtered through those clouds, but it's not going to be, the clouds won't be super thick. We'll just put it that way. So you might be able to see the moon ring, maybe. So it kind of depends on where you are. So we go into Friday morning. We do have some of that mid to high level cloud cover. But notice, once we hit daybreak, it quickly recedes. It goes further south. And we head into Friday afternoon, mostly sunny skies. Now you see some of these clouds here. That's just those, again, puffy fair weather cumulus clouds, and that's just because of daytime heating. And then we head into Friday night. Clear skies, and that's going to allow temperatures to drop down in the 50s. So this is my kind of weather. I love when you wake up in the morning and temperatures are in the 50s. Nice, clear, comfortable. Great to step outside and get a cup of coffee to kick things off for the weekend on a pretty nice note. And then Saturday during the day. Clear skies, cool, calm winds. Saturday afternoon, sunshine. Temperatures really warm up though through the day. It's because of that sunshine, light wind. And in fact, highs on Saturday afternoon will make it up into the upper 80s. So pool weather, certainly tomorrow as well as Saturday. Now Sunday, yes and no. And I'll show you here. So going to Saturday night, clouds are going to begin to increase. We head into Sunday morning, starts off dry. A little bit warmer though. Morning lows on Sunday will be in the mid to upper 60s and perhaps a few low 70s. And then we head into Sunday afternoon. So here it is, lunchtime. Still looks dry. A lot of cloud cover though. So Sunday, if you're trying to get a tan, if you're at poolside, you might get one, but it's not going to be much of one because of the cloud cover. You still get some UV rays that come through those clouds, but not nearly as much as, obviously, sun. But we head into Sunday afternoon. That's when we're looking at the return of showers and thunderstorms. So what I'm going to do now, because this model ends around this time, I'm going to show a wider model, and it's going to have things much further out. That's just kind of how this is. And so if you want to have it zoomed in, I have it zoomed in fairly well. But what I want to do is really want to point out that the fact that Sunday morning is going to be dry. Sunday afternoon, here it is. There's that rain. This is 1 o'clock. It's still outside of the tri-state. So it's over towards the Louisville metro, over towards Evansville, over towards Terre Haute. So it's out that way. Not here. So that's what I'm saying is that if you are trying to go out to the pool on Sunday, you might be able to get away with it until about 3 o'clock or so. After that, that's when we're looking at the opportunity for more rain to move into the tri-state. Now, again, tomorrow and Saturday, no issues. No issues at all when it comes to the weather and going out to the pool. So here it is, Sunday afternoon, showers and thunderstorms. And so on Sunday, nothing right now appears to be strong or severe. That being said, something I have noticed on the models is that this is going to come in with a lot of moisture. So it's going to be a stark difference between the air we're seeing Saturday versus Sunday. So Saturday, we're talking about very comfortable air. Dew points in the 50s. But Sunday, dew points will be in the upper 60s. That big of a difference with the dew points really indicates a lot more moisture. So that's going to allow for the potential for very heavy downpours. Perhaps localized flooding can't be entirely ruled out with this on, I would say more on the lines of Monday in that regard, but Sunday could definitely see that potential here. And you can even tell here on this forecast model. What I always tell people is, models are just a tool, but the tools can tell you a lot just by a view like this. And that thought is, look at the difference between the green and the red. You can see here, it's not far apart. So the close those colors are together, that's a strong indication of heavy downpours. So heavy downpours look to be possible for Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening. In addition, notice how this thing is kind of arched that way. When it's arched that way, sometimes that could be accompanied by some gusty winds. So Sunday there could be maybe a breeze out there along with this heavy rain. But right now, there are not a lot of indicators for the potential for stronger storms. So I just want to point that out there. If there's any indication right now of any kind of impact with these storms, it is going to be heavy rain. Sorry, we've got some folks messaging. Sorry, it's our Reds group. Someone must have butt dialed. Anyway, we'll move on with our forecast. So, again, Sunday, if anything, heavy rain. We go into Monday. Monday morning, look at that. Heavy rain here across the tri-state. Scattered showers and storms in the morning and in the afternoon. So you can see here for the homebound commute, still scattered showers and storms across the tri-state. And again, it's just a tool, but it has good indicators here of heavy downpours. How quickly it goes from green to orange in some of these instances across the tri-state, across the Ohio Valley. And so this is going to tell us, hey, we could be looking at some heavy downpours here also on Monday. We'll take a pause here real quick. We're not looking at anything strong or severe, but we are going to be looking at the potential for maybe some heavy downpours and perhaps some gusty winds. Kind of like how the storms were earlier this week, with those storms being labeled as strong, but not severe. And like I said, I don't even suspect that to be the case predominantly, but there is that potential for maybe a good gust of wind, maybe some thunder and lightning and heavy rain. Take a look at the comments again, because I've been rambling here for a moment. Jeff, on our Fox 19 Facebook page, I ask Steve all the time, so I will ask you, any snow yet? No, I tell you what, that'd be cool. I would love to forecast some snow. Snow forecasting is a challenge, and I love a good challenge. So maybe we can talk about that. Hopefully October. That'd be cool. Be a good birthday gift for me. Carla says, hush, bite your tongue. Yeah, I mean, here in Ohio, here in Kentucky, Indiana, you can get all 4 seasons in a short period of time. So I wouldn't put it past that idea in the fall. Obviously July. Too early for snow, Jeff. Carla says, I hope so. We need the rain badly. Yes, we do. Again, the drought monitor. And I haven't shown that yet. So Carla, thank you. Thank you. Because that was one thing I was wanting to show here, and I haven't shown it yet. And it's not in this rundown. So what we'll do is I'm going to try to find it here real quick. Once this loads, here we are behind me. What I'll do is I'll take this full screen. There you have it. And this is the drought monitor. This comes in from the U.S. Drought Monitor, I believe in coordination with the Climate Prediction Center. And what they do is they look at data and they analyze it all on Tuesday. Or they gather the data on Tuesday, they analyze it, and they publish it on Thursday. So this is technically Tuesday's data. And what you can see here is, and I agree with this, areas that have seen more rain the last couple of weeks have been up here. Areas that have not seen as much rain have been areas to the east. In fact, what I was telling Steve the last couple of weeks, whenever I visit my dad, the pond is getting lower, the creek is getting lower, the grass is getting brown, and you can see here, moderate drought in Highland County and northern Adams County, a big agricultural area. So the folks out there desperately need the rain, not only for the fact they want a green grass, but also it affects their livelihood. And there's a lot of other locations, too, that deal with this, including southeast Hamilton County, much of Claremont County, much of northern Kentucky from much of Kenton and Campbell counties, part of Boone County, and then also down towards Robertson County, almost the entire county, I would say the entire county actually, is under a moderate drought. And even if you don't have moderate drought conditions, you still need the rain because all this area in yellow, all of Warren County, much of Butler and Hamilton County, much of Brown, actually all of Brown, Mason, Lewis, Pendleton County, much of Switzerland, Gallatin, Grant, Owen, Boone counties, Ripley County, under abnormally dry conditions. So I show you this map because, yes, we need it, but there is the potential for relief with regards to that rain coming in on Sunday afternoon and Monday. So we'll go back to that model real quick once this loads. Hey, good job. I've got it in the right spot. So here it is, Sunday night, rain moving in, and we go into Monday. Scattered showers in the morning and storms. Monday afternoon, scattered showers and storms. And this, again, this pattern is much like this past week, where it's going to be all over the place. There's not a lot of forcing that we're working with. What I mean by forcing, I mean cold fronts, MCS development, things like that. You don't have a lot of that on this particular map on Sunday nor Monday. So what that leads me to believe, and what other models are agreeing with, is that we don't have the right ingredients per se for anything to be concerned about with severe weather. Now, like I said, there's a lot of heavy rain with this. And when you have temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, and you have a lot of heavy rain, that tends to lead to that rain-cooled air to be really cool. And that temperature difference can lead to a lot of gusty winds. So, like I said a little bit ago, Sunday evening through Monday, I don't suspect anything strong or severe. But I do see the potential for heavy rain, maybe some breezy gusts, and thunder and lightning. We go into Tuesday, though, still looking at pop-up showers and storms, but I want to bring your attention to this to the left here. This right here is part of what I say is an MCS. And what is an MCS? That means a multi-convective system. So it's kind of a cluster of storms. Remember a couple weeks ago when we had that line move through and it had a lot of strong winds with it, and it was a quick rain? That's kind of what these things can do. And they also, the other names they come by, ridge riders. And in this case, it kind of is a ridge rider. However, the models are having a hard time with it. It could be much further west. It could be much further north. We're kind of on that cusp where we could see this interact. Right now, it's too early to tell. I think we're going to be still stuck in that pop-up shower and storm activity like Monday for Tuesday. We go into Wednesday, and there's a lot of question marks with this. So I'm not going to say we could be seeing an MCS on Wednesday, but models are going back and forth on that idea. So what does this mean for you? What does this mean to what to know? Right now, it looks like we're just looking at scattered showers and storms on Wednesday, just like on Tuesday and Monday. Of course, this far out, this is almost a week out. A lot of data needs to be assessed. And MCSs are very difficult to forecast for. I'm not saying there's an MCS. I'm saying that the models are trying to introduce that here in the region. And I think right now, if anyone tells you that we're going to look at that moving in, they very naive. Just put it that way. Because to forecast something like that almost a week out is a very difficult challenge. You've got to have a lot of data to back up that claim. And I don't see that right now. I do see storm chances, though, absolutely, and in the order of pop-ups as well as nighttime thunderstorm development that could move through. But again, I'm not seeing any indicators of severe weather at this time. And then we head into Thursday. Thursday looks to be the model jumped. Thursday looks to be the driest day of next week. We go into Friday, and the model ends here, but I do want to draw your attention here if you can. Far up here, top left of the screen, this is going to be part of another system that moves through. This one could bring in more rain and thunderstorms next Friday. And that's really far out. Talk about any details of that. But we are looking at definitely some thunderstorms going into the end of next week. So it's a lot of information there. So what I'm going to do now is pull up that 7-day forecast and pull that up. And behind me you can see Saturday looks nice. 88 degrees, sunshine. Sunday, again, afternoon and evening storm chances, but I think the first half of the day, you got outdoor plans, you'll be fine. Partly to mostly cloudy. Temperatures will be a little bit hindered because of that cloud cover, up to 87. Monday looks wet. If you got outdoor plans Monday, I suggest alternate indoor plans. Tuesday, scattered showers and storms, and then some question marks on Wednesday. Right now, I'm just going to say isolated storms, high of 88. And then Thursday, we do break out into the low 90s with partly cloudy skies. Can't roll to pop up maybe, but Thursday does look a lot more dry than it does wet. So that is the 7-day forecast. Take a look at any of those questions or comments. Oh, we've got a conversation going on here. Michael says, my favorite weatherman other than Steve Horsemeyer. I really appreciate that, Michael. That means a lot. I grew up watching Steve, and it's a blessing to be able to work with him. And it was really cool. He took me on as an intern, and then he's helped me through my career, getting from Rapid City to Bowling Green, Kentucky, back to my home market here in Cincinnati. Okay. Carla and Jeff are having a good conversation. So I'll take a look at my Facebook page real quick. And hopefully you got some good plans this weekend. Okay, we got some more comments on my Facebook page. AK says, thanks for keeping us updated. Absolutely, AK. That's what I'm here for. Kim says, hello. Hello to you. I believe that's all the comments we have on both the Fox 19 Facebook page and my Facebook page. Okay, so now what we're going to do is the Climate Prediction Center issues temperature and precipitation outlooks. They're based on probability. And so the darker the shade of color, that means the higher the likelihood. So while this loads, I take a drink of water. And here we go. Yes. So the next 2 weeks. So this is going into the first full week of August. And as you can see, we are looking at temperatures likely to be at or above normal. So what does this mean for you? The data I've been looking at suggests highs in the mid to upper 80s, maybe flirting with the low 90s, but we're not looking at anything like out west. Like I was saying earlier, I got my buddy of mine out in Rapid City looking at triple digits, and you can see here the dark shades of red towards Bismarck, Billings, Rapid City, down towards Cheyenne, Wyoming. All of this through here. Really, really hot air, abnormally hot air. For us, yeah, a little bit warmer, but it's early August. So upper 80s to low 90s, that's nothing to be unheard of. When it comes to precipitation, we're kind of on that cusp of seeing maybe some storm chances, but nothing appears to be of any significance. In fact, I think this is okay. I'm okay with this. That's much better than what's happening out in the central and high plains. So with that ridge, there's also a very big area of dry air. So this will be something we need to monitor for the first half of August, because when you have that heat and you have this kind of dry air, that could lead to the potential of wildfires. When I lived out in South Dakota, wildfires were a big deal. And unfortunately, it's a big deal when it comes to the agriculture that happens out there in Nebraska and the Dakotas, portions of Iowa, Kansas even included with that. And that could lead to, like I said, wildfires, but also could lead to smoke, which we could see here. So that'll be something we need to monitor over the next couple of weeks. And of course, as we get that data, of course, as we see it, we'll let you know here on Fox 19. And looking ahead to the next 3 to 4 weeks, so this goes all the way through towards the latter half of August. As you can see, there's this big hole here towards western Kentucky. So what this tells me is that temperatures will remain into those mid-80s going into the end of August. And with that, there's a little bit of an increase in rain chances. So we're going to be dealing with, not the best of forecasts when it comes to the next few weeks of, hey, it's going to be somewhat warm, a little bit of humidity to work with, and some pop-up storm chances. Now, this kind of map does not indicate any good soaking rains, but it does provide the potential for some relief. So that's some positive news out of this. That being said, it's not positive for all of us because some will see rain while others won't. And that drought monitor did a pretty good job at indicating that because, as I told you, if you were watching on 19 at 6 last weekend, I mentioned this pattern we're going to be falling into is the kind of rain where, hey, it's good news to see that, but not all of us will see that good news. And it was very relevant with the rain that did come through the last couple of weeks that moved through over towards southeast Indiana, Butler County, down towards Owen County. And if you remember, I remember this because I deal with this all the time, but if you look at our maps on our social media pages of when we've had flood advisories, they've been in here. They've been in these particular locations. It's because they've been seeing those soaking rains. We've had the soaking rains, but it's just not been for everyone. So that's the unfortunate side of this with this pattern of pop-up showers and storms. But we do have that potential for some relief here into the tri-state. Now, again, as I mentioned, the very beginning of this is the haze you see outside is because of wildfire smoke from wildfires over towards Alberta, British Columbia, and also towards Oregon and Idaho. It's not affecting air quality all that much. It's only moderate air quality right now, but it has resulted in some of this haze you see right now, kind of that milky haze, if you will. But it's not going to be a big issue. In fact, tonight it's going to clear out a bit more, and we're looking at mostly clear skies tonight. Looking at some cloud cover moving in tonight, mostly clear skies tomorrow night. So, and with that, temperatures are in the upper 70s right now. We'll fall down to the lower 60s tonight, and then tomorrow we'll break into the low to mid 80s. I'll have one final look at our Facebook comments and questions before we wrap this up. Look at my Facebook page first. And I don't think we have any updated questions or comments on my Facebook page. Look at the Fox 19 Facebook page. Carla says, got to get my yard mowed on Saturday. Yeah, good day to do that. Cheyenne says, I just want a week with no rain. Cheyenne, I think your comment is felt with mixed reviews depending on who is looking at it, because I know some folks really need the rain. Folks who work in gardening or agriculture, moderate drought conditions can be detrimental to folks who are trying to, plant, whether it's corn or soybean or maybe flowers, trees, stuff like that. So we do need the rain, but obviously if you're trying to do outdoor events, have to do some fun stuff outside, you don't want the rain. So it's kind of this mixed bag of opinions. So Cheyenne, I will say, if you don't want the rain, you got tomorrow, you got Saturday, and you got potentially next Thursday. You got a few days in the 7-day forecast at least to work with to be outside and enjoy it with no threat of rain. But there are going to be some opportunities for rain for folks who do need it in that regard. And I believe that is all of the comments we have on our Facebook pages. And again, eventually we'll be able to look at comments and questions on our YouTube, but right now it's just streaming. So check us out there. It's free. You can go on YouTube there and stream anytime. Of course, it's free here on Facebook too. But it's free because of our friends at Cost Saver sponsoring this with us, and we appreciate them. And it's 8 o'clock now. So with that being said, I got to get some stuff done. I got to update some graphics, and got to help out with a couple of things in the First Alert Weather Department, and get that going before the 10 o'clock newscast tonight. So you can join us there. I'll be working here tonight at 10 and 11 o'clock, and I'll be here tomorrow filling in for Steve as well. So you'll see me here again tomorrow at 7:15, but if not, you can always tune in tomorrow. Frank Marzullo beginning at 4:30, meteorologist Catherine Bodak at 9, and then, of course, she will be doing 19 at noon as well. And then I've covered all my bases. So with that being said, I'm going to get some food, and I'm going to work out some graphics, and I'll see you tonight at 10 o'clock here on Fox 19 Now. Thank you all so much for joining us here on this Thursday edition of our First Alert 7:15 weekday evening weather show.